Hello and welcome everyone to Heroic 3D Arts Gaming. Today we're continuing our build of Dragon's Heart Zoo in Planet Zoo. Today we're going to be making our next enclosure. In the last episode we made this beautiful peacock or peafowl, Indian peafowl enclosure. With the entrance inside it, just so our guests can get hands-on with the animals. Although you do need to do a couple of different things for it to be that. So by here, the next habitat, I got a plaster piece and I got some log. I got a log piece from the climbing section of the animal activity tab. So what I'm doing is I'm lining these log pieces up against the plaster. What I want from it is to be able to select the whole wall and the log pieces all together and duplicate. So I don't have to keep doing this with every single piece of the wall. I only have to do it once. You can see I got a rough map out of my null barrier, but there. So you can see by here that I've built it out a fair bit. You can see I'm just selecting it all. I don't have to worry about anything. I thought now we're just gonna go ahead and duplicate these corner pieces by here. For some reason it doesn't select all of the time. But at the same time, it will select everything you don't want it to select. So like if you're on ground level view, and you just want to select a couple of logs, every single tree in the background gets selected. It's a bit annoying. But yeah, there's nothing much you can really do about it. So by here I want to put exhibits with certain animals from the region of where the species that's going into this enclosure is from. The region is Asia. Put in some brick walls by here. Sorry, full plaster walls by here. And I made a bit of a rookie mistake by here because I didn't do... Oh wait, hang on. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah. Okay, no, I did do the rookie mistake. No? I honestly can't remember what I was doing in this video. So yeah, I'm just selecting what I need to duplicate. Just put it in place. Now I need to fill in this wall as well. And I use the taller logs. I'm putting the extra one on top because I am going to add an extra wall on top of it, just for extra height. Don't really need the extra height, but I kind of like the idea of it. So now I'm using the smaller pieces again to fill in this gap. Duplicating it over. And then bringing it down. And then bringing it up. So the look that I'm going for is that it's going to be a large vivarium. Because the species going in it is a reptile. And in reality terms, it's much easier to regulate temperatures inside a vivarium than it is to do so outside. So I'm just selecting everything by here now so that I can go ahead and duplicate it and bring it up. As you can see by here. As you can see that again, it didn't select everything. So I'm just going to select the whole thing and just bring it up. I know there's a few extra pieces in there that I didn't need, but I mean, I'm not going to stress out about it. So that's like the base of the enclosure done. So essentially, this is not a habitat. It works as a habitat. Everything about it is a habitat in terms of game mechanics. But essentially, it's a large exhibit. I'm just putting in some glass now to complete the look. But as usual, I'm finding it difficult to find what I like. So I'm going through all the various options. I go with these for the main wall, like the straight wall. Unfortunately, trying to get that onto a curve is a nightmare because it doesn't line up properly, and as you can see, it is like completely out. Oh, okay, so I went against that option. I went with 2 meter and 1 meter glass. Now, by here, I went ahead and made a rookie mistake. The rookie mistake was basically what I told you in the first video, in the last episode. Never put a roof on until you finished what's inside. So yeah, this is basically why I went ahead and done. A bit silly of me, but mistakes need to happen. So I'm just laying out these pieces, just stuff that I need in case I have to leave the tab for some reason, which I did. And I'm just doing this now, where I'm putting lights on those ceiling pieces, simply because it's so much easier in that sense. Rather than, trying to space them out properly, I can just do it like this and just duplicate it. I turn the lights to on all of the time, so we can see in the enclosure all of the time. And then we duplicate these pieces over. We don't need the lights on these pieces, just the ceiling itself. And then I go down and collect these. These, as you can see, they do match in certain ways, but I wasn't really too bothered by it, because I do end up covering it with black plaster pieces. This is just, again, so when you look outside, it's a plaster building. When you look inside, it's a jungle. So by here, I've gone ahead and deleted those two pieces, that row of two pieces, simply so I can do the work on the inside. At the same time, I'm not deleting those lights that I've put in place. So here you can see that I've gone ahead and put the black plaster roof on. To get the overhang, I turn down the grid size so I can get the minor adjustments. Inside now looks like a jungle, apart from the grass and stuff. Trees, vines, the lights. What I'm pointing out for there is that, the black plaster pieces are sticking through the wood ceiling, but it's okay, because that's not what you're going to be looking at as a guest. As a guest, you're going to be looking at what's on the ground because of what the species is. So by here, then, I move on to deleting this barrier, because it's going to be replaced with the final null barrier. So I take my gate, rotate it, And parent spot. Gonna select all and make sure that it's switched to null barrier. Just so I'm not colliding with the ground or anything like that. And then by here, I'm switching from straight to curved, just so that I got a nice curve look to it. If for any reason that one of the posts is out of alignment, then I can go around then and just make the minor adjustments to get it all in line. See, now if I was using a fence by here, this would be colliding with the path. But because I'm using the null barrier, it's not doing it. So that's the positive part. By here, I realize I don't need to use the straight path, the straight configuration, because I got the angle snap on. With the angle snap on, it's not going to do anything. Like it's not going to be too far out of the way, or anything like that. So by here, I'm working on just adding some more plants, just to make it, a little bit more realistic in some sort of sense, as realistic as I can make it. Some plants coming up the rocks, ensuring that the animal can't get stuck underneath the rock and things like that. Again, rookie mistake with the roof, because I hadn't finished with what's inside the building. So yeah, like I'm just going through different plants, different locations, just to make it look a bit nicer and more like a jungle. This all ends up being a bit of a waste because the animal doesn't like it. With the vines on the ceiling, yeah, it's a little bit too much coverage for them, so they didn't like it. But I've kept it in the video because it gives some idea to people what they could do and stuff. You're just placing, bits and pieces around here, there, and everywhere. Again, like in the last episode, there's no secret formula or any particular pattern that I'm following. I'm just making it up as I go along. By here, I'm adding some vines to the window frame. Again, just to, keep with that jungle look or jungle feel for those looking from the outside in. We're just, making all the micro adjustments. following the window frame. As you can see, it's not too low that the guests can't see in through them. Here I'm just filling in the path around it so that our guests can walk around and enjoy the views of the animal. We go right around, and I think I do a 3, or it could be a 2 in width. I think it might be 2. But here I go ahead and make some adjustments to the plaster roof because I didn't like the overhang. It was a little bit too far over, so I just tidied it up a little bit. And as you can see, the vines and the windows are finished, and they do look really good. I couldn't do it on the rounded windows because they just won't line up. But I like it like that. It looks good. So now in this part, as anyone who has kept a reptile would know, the one thing that you would know is that reptiles need a basking light. Now, this game does not have a basking light for reptiles. So, Frontier, if you're watching this, please do something about that. Because you've got reptiles in the games, but you haven't got basic setups. So, what I'm using here is a floor light. Now, I switch between floor lights depending on what gives me the better result. And I don't want it to be something that's too bright. I don't want it to be something that's too dim. By here, it's too bright. It's blinding. Like, if you had a basking light like that, you're going to cook the animal. And as much of a meat eater I am, I don't want to eat a cooked reptile. Like, cooked reptile tastes good, but I'm happy with chicken and beef. So I ended up swapping out the first light for the other one because this one looked a bit more better, in my opinion. Like, I would have liked to have it a bit more brighter, but it's what I went with because, like, this one by here, it's too dim. The first one was way too bright. This one was Perfect. Well, perfect for the job. It not. It could have been better. Could have been 100% better. But you got to work with what you got to work with. By here, I start working on the corners. I didn't want to put, another piece of path by there because I didn't want the guests to walk through the wall and be inside the enclosure. I was testing different things by here. Like painting the ground and things like that. I was thinking about doing a stone holder for information boards, but yeah, I initially went. I ended up going with just putting down mulch and filling that grass, that little bit of the corner in. You can see that I didn't want the mulch to be seen from inside the enclosure either. So I very carefully placed it down. Thankfully, the logs on the wall contributed to hiding it. And they did a really good job of it. So now I'm filling it in with plants. Again, no secret formula, no specific pattern. I'm just making it up as I go along. Wherever I think looks nice, goes together, basically. This helps contribute towards scenery for guests. Like, they'll be more likely to sit on benches here. They'd be more likely to use bins and things like that. If I put guest facilities like stores or toilets, ATMs, they'd be more likely to use them. Next, I start to work on the staff facilities. So we've got the, just the basic stuff, like everything you basically need for the staff. It goes in by here. As you can see in the corner there, I have put exhibits down, but I haven't featured the build of those purely because I didn't like it. I did record it, but I just cut it out because of the way the path was set up. Wasn't letting me do a path fully around the exhibit. There's the keeper. No, sorry. I was going to put a keeper. So now with all the necessary pieces in, I start working on construction pieces to make it look nice, or you know, like staff area. So window pieces, door pieces, wall pieces. I've put the electric and water facilities in as well. So, but here I wanted to do something a little bit different. I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do this. Maybe because it's a bad idea or an ugly idea. But it's something I wanted to do. My own little spin on it. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a veterinary surgery. Now, I know we have the vet hut in the staff facility area, but I wanted to make it look a bit more realistic. It sounds like a place where you can go and have a look as a guest. So by here, I'm putting these pieces in because there's going to be a flower bed on top. So by here I'm just putting the roof on. Again, another rookie mistake because I haven't finished what I want to do on the inside. This is why I say this game is a little bit mentally challenging, because it really challenges your brain. Like, you gotta think. Like, every second of the game you are thinking, what am I gonna do with this enclosure? What am I gonna do with this building? What am I gonna do with that? So you are gonna make mistakes, whether it's gonna be a rookie mistake or you know, just a really, really big mistake. But here, I initially went with wire fencing, but then I did decide against it. But here, I'm working on the floor of the surgery, just to make it look nice and make it look like it's a indoor area. And then I was looking for a table or something like that, but I couldn't find one. I checked the props, I checked everything, and yeah, I couldn't find anything. So I went ahead and went with these painted plank pieces. I used these to build the tabletop just by duplicating them and, you know, just lining them up properly, making sure there's no gaps on the table, because I wanted this to be a, you know, this would be where the vet would do their checkups on the animal. So then I lifted up the table by here, the tabletop. Then I had to find legs for my table. Again, bit of a trouble going through everything just to find something. I mean, we had some of these good options by here, but I just didn't like them. I tried to make this look good, but yeah, I just couldn't. But then I found this piece. And thought, yeah, that looks pretty good. I like it. So then it was just a basically me duplicating them, putting them to the other side, and then bringing these two front pieces forward. So that's the surgery table done. I forgot I had angle snap on at this point, and first I didn't like it, but then I used it to my advantage and for a placement. And then what I went ahead and did was duplicate the table again, but so that I could make the table a little bit bigger, because you know, zoos have lions, they have tigers, and none of those are going to fit on a small table. Really speaking, I should have probably put on some supports, like crossbars and things like that, because, you know, lions and tigers are huge, and they are heavy. And in real life, they would probably smash through that table as soon as you put it on. But here, I'm just duplicating the floor panels. Just bringing them up by here. Again, you know, like, this is why I don't like putting the roof on first. But luckily I was just able to delete a couple of the roof pieces and get my get the bits that I needed in alignment to then go ahead and put the roof back on. So I went with the light by here. But there I was like, wait, why is it not going underneath? But I figured it out was because I didn't have a line to surface. So then this was just about, you know, filling in the gaps. And then moving on to putting the roof back on. Unfortunately, I still didn't get the look that I wanted here. You know, a surgery should be brightly lit. I went ahead and decided on these painted brick pieces for the inside of the wall. Just to give it a little bit more brightness to the surgery. But here it was a lot of humming and ahhing about whether I would do the outside of the wall. But no, I left it like that. It's not like you could see it. I mean, I didn't really want the guests near this area anyway. It was more of like a passing fancy, like something you would walk past and be like, oh wow, look, they got a surgery for when an animal needs help. So by here I worked on the door for the surgery. Placing in a metal door like this, trying to keep the look of it being part of the staff facilities. As you can see, there's gaps between the door and the wall, so I had to improvise using some painted wood pieces to cover it up, hide it. So with the door finished, it was time to move on to removing the mesh pieces, because again, I didn't like them. They looked horrible. So I replaced them with glass panes and ended up liking it. My next task was to work on these red zones. The thing with staff facilities is they negatively impact the guests. So it becomes my job then to go ahead and try and reduce that. And the way you reduce it is by having plants around it. Again, it contributes to scenery. So what I ended up doing is putting the garden on top of the staff facility, lining the bedding with mulch, and just duplicating it across, making sure there's no gaps, and it serves as a really nice base. Like, you're not seeing any stone under the plants or anything like that. It just genuinely looks like a flower bed on top of a building. So over here, we're putting in the plants. And again, no particular pattern or order or anything like that. Just whatever I think looks nice. I avoided putting any type of trees into this because realism, tree roots go deep, and you know, this is on top of a building. The only thing I did go with was these banana tree plants, but you know, like just pretending that they're not like any kind of trees, they're just bushes on sticks. Because with a building, you don't want a tree on top of it. If you've got a tree on top of it, those roots are going to start spreading through the building, and it's going to cost a lot of money in maintenance. Here I'm just using random bits of bushes, just to, covering some small gaps. And yeah, I ended up liking that. So my next mission then was to add a greenhouse type of structure on top. So I went with doing this type of thing here with some white glass pieces, but I left the middle open, and the reason for that is because I wanted to do like a sprinkler system over the top of it, so the plants are getting the great enhanced sunlight from the greenhouse, but at the same time they are getting sprinklers, and on days that maybe the sprinklers are broken, they are still getting the water from the rain. The sprinkler system on top of that staff facility gave me an idea. I wanted to add mist to this enclosure, just to add to that eerie presence of a giant reptilian species dwelling within this enclosure. And I ended up liking it. But then I did come up with another issue in that, where steam was coming out of the roof. But I didn't fix it. Like, yes, me as the player, I could see it. As the guest, you can't see it, so I left it. So by here, I had to redo the path and stuff like that. What I actually ended up doing was taking the exhibits out and just taking out one square of the path. So like I filled in the path completely and just took out the one piece of path where the exhibit was going to go. As long as you know you got the path that goes into the exhibit, so the staff can go and do their things with the exhibit, like feeding the animals, taking animals out to stop overpopulation and things like that. It's good. So yeah, you know, you don't need the path to go into the exhibits for guests to see the animals. They will see the animals regardless. So yeah, that's what I went ahead and did. So here we are with the exhibits all built up. This one's got the puff adder. I've got desert horned vipers, Asian forest scorpions, Malaysian stick insects, dung beetles, or sacred scarabs, and just things like that. And just putting our things in, like information boards, so that guests can learn about these creatures. I myself have actually kept giant Asian forest scorpions, and I've kept 3 or 4 different species of them, and they are so much fun. You got the Malaysian stick insect or leaf insect. Here's the Asian forest scorpion. these guys, they, I would say they're a really good starter species for scorpion. They're fairly big. You can handle them. They can be aggressive at times. Then at other times they're quite chilled. I had at one point I had about 10 Asian forest scorpions, and 9 out of 10 were really chilled. I could go in the enclosure, change their water, offer them a cricket, do my regular maintenance, and I would get out unscathed. I could handle them without being pinched or stung. But then there was the 1 out of 10. Whenever I put my hand in his enclosure, actually no, whenever I took the lid off the tank, he was out of his hide, claws wide open, stinger right above his head, ready and waiting for me. And every time I put my hand in the enclosure, he would chase my hand out of it. He was really difficult to work with. But every experience I've had working with a reptile, I would not change it, because it's such an amazing experience to work with animals like it. Really trying to hide the information boards were there, so nobody can guess what's going inside that enclosure. So here's the Indian peafowl enclosure again. Give you one look at the beautiful animals that's inside. I picked up this albino. One thing that I find annoying is like some of the prices these people are selling these birds. I mean, in my playthroughs, I'm selling them at most 20 conservation credits, maybe 50 if the stats are really good. But these guys are selling like 1,000. And I actually bought one by mistake once last year. 1,000 conservation credit peacock, and as soon as I released it, within 5 minutes, it died of old age. I was very, very upset with that. Because these conservation credits, they are not easy to come by. The way you earn them is by releasing animals into the wild or selling them. You do get 100 conservation credits a day, but that really runs out within your first purchase. Like, you're not going to be able to afford a monkey or a gorilla or a tiger, anything like that, really. So here comes the mystery species, and it's the Komodo dragon. Now, what better animal to feature as the first major animal when you walk through a zoo, through an entrance of a zoo called Dragon's Heart Zoo? The first thing you see is an actual dragon. I would have liked to have put the Welsh dragon in there, but again, Frontier, if you're watching this, you know, you could add one in. A modder, maybe. So, yeah, I got the male and female Komodo dragon in. I would love to own this species. Because I've always loved dinosaurs ever since I was a kid. And I think this is going to be the closest thing you could ever have to owning a dinosaur. I mean, yes, I get they're big, they're venomous, but you know, it is an animal that can learn. And if an animal can learn, it can be tamed. Or you can build I hate the word tamed when it comes to reptiles because it's not a tame species. It's building a relationship. And I reckon you could possibly do it with a Komodo dragon. Build a relationship with it on mutual respect where you both know you're not going to hurt each other and you can just chill out. If you can do it with a Bosque monitor or a Savannah monitor, water monitor, Nile monitors, things like that, why can't you do it with a Komodo dragon? There's a guy on YouTube, Chandler's Wildlife. He built a massive bond with a king cobra called Kevin, and that bond was amazing. Like, he could handle that snake as if it was a python. Obviously, there is always going to be that risk of being bitten, being hurt, or, you know, but there's a risk in life all the time. So with those exhibits, I do have plans for them. Those plans will be revealed within the next episode. This is the end of the episode today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed playing it. And I hope you will be back in future to watch more videos. I go ahead by here and do a little bit of a walkthrough as a final thing. So I'm a guest. Walking through this lovely establishment with guest facilities. I'm going to complain about that. How dare you not be working? So we come in here, we got our staff wandering around, not doing any work. And Dragon's Heart Zoo right by there. The hard shelter for our peacocks. There's our beautiful birds. I'm just, kind of run around looking for the male by here. Seems to like hiding. Ah, there he is. I found him. There's a guy in a zoo that I used to go to as a kid. He sells peacock feathers. But they're quite expensive. They're 20 quid. £20. And because in this particular zoo, the peacocks roam the zoo freely, which is what I would love to have imitated by here, is the peacocks just enjoying the zoo, but trying to have their mechanics in place, so can't really change that. But this guy, when a peacock would drop its feather, he would go up, grab the feather, put it on his stand and be like, 20 quid please, to all of the guests of the zoo. And I was a kid, so I wanted a peacock feather, and my dad went over to the car and he asked the guy, how much is it when you're big peacock feathers, ones with the eyelets on? And the guy was like, yeah, they're about £20. And out the corner of my father's eye, he saw a peacock pull a feather out. My dad went over and grabbed it, gave it to me, and said, here we go. There's your peacock feather. The guy did not look happy about that. I get, like, it's just a guy, he's trying to make money to feed his family and stuff, but £20 for a feather, it's extortionate. £5, yeah, fair enough. That's a bit of a stretch as well, but, it's something you can work with. But £20, that's a whole meal right there. Well, back then it was anyway. So yeah, I'm just having a walk around the zoo now, pretending to be a guest, and I'm enjoying the views. So we are here at the end of this episode. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed watching as much as I've enjoyed playing. Please hit the like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you again next week in the next episode. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to make for the next episode, but it'll be a nice surprise, so come along and find out. We'll see you next time.